So, I have been I've been working on this project for a bit, but I haven't really made any videos about it, mostly because I wanted to explain what the goal of this next printer is going to be. In case you can't tell by the frame, it is largely based on the Voron V0, but I decided I wanted to try and design my own motion system and my own motor mount and just see what I could do, basically. Designing a little bit of a challenge for myself. And I wanted to make a Voron V0, but faster. I wanted it to not be enclosed so I could print PLA nicely, and that was the original goal with this build. Since then, I've gone into a little bit of scope creep, going with an all-wheel drive Core XY setup, and going a little bit overkill on the electronics. I went with a Big Tree Tech cracking board, which looks very nice, but it's definitely a little bit of overkill for considering it is way bigger than I was expecting, but it does look really nice. And yeah, so I'm gonna start making more videos about this, about the assembly process, about some of the choices I made in the design, some of the choices that maybe I should have made in the design process that I didn't for a number of reasons. But I just wanted to kind of introduce the project. So for the motion system, it's a fully custom motor mount with a custom belt path that's quite different from the standard V0. For the for the Z axes, I'm using a design by Drifter HQ that I found on Printables. It's technically designed for a salad fork printer or a printer smaller than a V0. So I fully expect that when we cut power to the motor, that the bed will just droop and fall. That's not something I personally care about for this printer, and it just is what it is. It's not something I plan on addressing or fixing. I'm just gonna kind of leave that alone. For the bed, I went with the Physek CNC bed, which I have in a box over here somewhere. That's the aluminum part of the bed. Here's the CNC part. So, very nice. And part of the reason I went with that is because Drifter HQ had an adapter to mount it, to use his Z-axis solution on this bed frame, and because I don't really like the stock V0 bed frame with its 1515 aluminum. Other than that, I went with a very light X-axis aluminum extrusion replacement. For the extruder, I'm going to be using Voron M4 extruder, the same one that's used on 24/7 printing's Voron V0. For the XY joints, I got these CNC ones that are supposed to be very light, and I'm excited to use. And yeah, I went with Fushi bearings for everything I could. And then for the hot end, I went with a Triangle Labs, I don't remember what it's called now. Do I have the box here somewhere? I think it's the CHC Pro XL or XXL, but it should be a lot of flow. I'm excited to try it out. For cooling, for part cooling, I'm planning on going with CPAP. That should have arrived today. I gotta go check the mail, see if it arrived. And then for power, the plan is 48 volts for the motors, 24 volts for running the rest of the stuff. Yeah, I think that's most of the major components. Now on to a lot of the components I got are V0 components, non-V0 components, because I'm using a V0 frame. But going into some of the changes that I made to the frame, we flip it upside down here. One of the major changes that I made is I lowered all of the extrusions on the bottom are 20 millimeters lower than they would be on a standard V0. And that's what these little pieces are doing. And the reason that I wanted to do that is because on your standard V0, if your tool head is round and doesn't have a flat bottom, you hit these back to extrusions. And the tool head I want to use is a modified version of the, what's it called? Crown? I want to say it's called the Crown. But I'll link it in the description and I'll maybe put up a picture here. Or I'll switch over to the CAD and show exactly why I needed this extra spacing. But I basically needed these two extrusions to be lower, and rather than just having these be kind of in an odd location, I decided to just lower the entire bottom of the frame by 20 millimeters. It probably is not helping rigidity and other things, but that's what all of these very extra corner brackets are for. Yeah. Other than that, it's a fairly standard V0 frame. I'm using the feet that I found on the 24/7 Printing's CAD file, because it's just a little bit wider. And then I decided to mount the back feet on the outer extrusion, which mounts them even further out. That's hopefully going to help a little bit with vibrations. I do need to get some hula feet for this printer, because I definitely expect it to create enough vibrations to need it. And then the reason why I have like extra extrusions is because I bought a kit for the V0.2, which comes with the top hat. These are LDO aluminum extrusions. I'm actually really impressed with the color. It's really, really pretty. But yeah, I went with the V0.2 kit specifically so that I would have the extra aluminum extrusions to then be able to mess around with. I have already made some mistakes in going from CAD to real life. Like, for whatever reason, I thought that these aluminum extrusions, these short ones, I thought they were 80 millimeters for some reason, where in reality they're 100 millimeters. So that was a little bit silly of me, especially for not double checking my measurements before I printed these pieces. But I don't think that's going to end up mattering too much. I can redo the CAD before I publish it, if I ever do publish it. And either way, I can still mount a little cover piece here using those 4 holes that were originally for these cross bracing like that. For motors, I went with 2504 LDO stepper motors. I mean, they're very good, and I was able to get them at a good price. So it was just the solution that made the most sense. Any other stepper motors better than this would have cost 2 to 3 times as much, given my location and the vendors that I have access to. So I decided that I would just go with these, and since they're a little bit cheaper, I could afford 6 of them so that I can run the same type of stepper on as every motor in this machine. So that means that it's going to be one of these for the extruder, for the Z axes, and then 4 of these for the XY motion. I did do some math to try and figure out like which ones would make the most sense. I'm not entirely sure if my math is correct, specifically because of the 2 motors per belt thing. I don't know how that should affect the physics of the motion system. I just calculated as, what if we had 1 motor that was twice as strong? But I don't know. That could be entirely wrong and very much useless. In terms of like actual worries about this build, I have no idea if my motion system is good. I designed it because it made sense to me and I liked it. It seemed interesting and I kind of just went for it. So hopefully none of the bearings explode and it can actually print. But there is still a lot of progress that needs to be made on this. I think the next steps I'm going to be going for, I haven't decided if I want to do the AB motors back here. If I want to assemble those right now, or if I want to do the bed assembly. But I also need to start mounting the linear rails, and there's a lot of stuff that has to happen. Maybe I'll check the mail first, see if the CPAP fan arrived, and go from there. Yeah, that seems like a good plan. So I'll catch up with you guys when I'm actually working on the printer, or when the CPAP fan has arrived. So in the last update, I showed some of the progress I had. Here's another little progress update. Started installing the AB motor mounts. They came out pretty well, not perfect, but this was the main problem that I made. I misjudged the size of these aluminum extrusions and I forgot to double check my measurements. So I can't have my little cross support that I had designed there, which is frustrating. In the meantime, I did get the power supply. I'm a little short about it. This is a UHP 750 48. So this is a 48 volt, 750 watt power supply. Then here I have a 24 volt, 350 watt power supply. So I'm just gonna cut in here from the future because I was a little bit dumb. Well, a lot of bit dumb. And went super overkill on the 750 watt power supply because I forgot to take into account that the stepper drivers are what regulates the voltage that goes, or the amperage that goes to the stepper motors, and it's not just pure current. It's not just basic physics, which is how I did the math. So learn from my mistakes, double check your math, and don't go super overkill. It should work out. And I also got the CPAP fan that I ordered. This is a 7040 CPAP fan. I got the BQ kit that comes with a nice little filter. And it comes with the drivers and everything, which is nice. Also came with this random bag of screws and heated inserts that I don't know what I'm supposed to do with, but nice to have, I guess. I kind of regret not going for, what's it called? There's a bigger version of this. I think it's a 9040 CPAP fan. That's also really nice, but those ones are like 80 euros. But the advantage of that is that then I could run at 48 volts, which does move a lot more air, which is good. But for now, I'll use this, and then if I have cooling issues, I have a next step that I can take if needed. And then I have the CPAP hose over here. It's my first time ever using CPAP cooling, so I'm a little bit nervous for how it's gonna go, but we'll see. Just gotta take it one thing at a time. I started installing the linear rails onto the frame. Okay, Barry. Okay, Barry. I get it. You want to say hello. What's up, bud? What can I do for you? Barry. What do you want? What is it? Come here. Come here. Sorry, Bear is getting my attention. And someone in the comments asked me to show him last time, so I wanted to make sure I got that. Yeah, I started installing some of the linear rails. There and there. And then I got my x-axis linear rail on. I still need to do the z-axis, which I have down here. I just need to install the titanium backer that I got. I think it's titanium. It's the LDO linear rail mount. It's these little metal things. Really nice. On my other V0, I used some PCB mounts that came with my Physec kit. But for this one, these were only like a couple euros. And the PCP ones were also roughly the same price. So I decided to get these ones instead. Especially since on the x-axis, I don't need to put one. So get maximum lightness, don't have to worry about the metal mass. And here I get nice strong mounts. Yeah, I think that's most of the progress that I've made since the last time I showed this. I also added the last 2 corner brackets that were missing. And I think that's about it. I started installing the Z-axis component. So this is going to have a pulley on the end of it, which will then have a belt that goes down. I'm going to have to move this back white piece, but that's not a problem at all. And yeah, I also started planning out PSU mounts. So let me just rotate this. So the plan is that the 24 volt will go here, the same way that the 24/7 printing's power supply is mounted. I honestly don't know what screws to use, but I'm kind of debating whether I just double-side tape it or not. And then the 48 volt power supply, I am going to try, sorry about all the shaky cam. I'm going to try and mount it here. Making good progress on my next Voron build, my custom motion system and everything. Finally got the first motor assembly set, and I'm working on the second one. So the little top cover is going to go on just like that. And then it has 3 screw holes to mount it down, and then I got to put the screws for the stepper motor. And here you can see how it is before I put some of the pieces on. And then there's the front motors. I'm really hoping that my CAD was all correct for the height of these bearings. Otherwise, I have no idea how I'm going to correct for that. But hopefully it's all good. And I'm excited to get it up and running. Still have a lot of work to do. Still don't have any part of the bed assembly ready, but making progress on the stepper motor sections, which is good. Some progress is better than no progress. In case anyone's wondering how I'm going to do the belt path for my V0, the plan is to have the belt loop around this way, and then if it's connecting to this stepper, it would go around the bottom, loop around, and then go back the same way. The belt path is going to be inverted relative to the way it is on this V0. See how the teeth are facing outward? On this one, the teeth are going to be facing inward. And honestly, I don't know if it's going to cause problems because these pulleys don't have teeth. But I'm going to try it and hope for the best, see what happens. Hopefully it doesn't go too wrong. Worst case scenario, I have to redesign it to use toothed bearings up here and over here. And the same thing for the x-axis bearings, which on the normal V0 is just a bearing stack like this one. But overall, I think it should be fine for what I'm doing, and it will be a good learning experience either way. I've already noticed a bunch of other things that I should change and would like to change for possible future versions of this build. But yeah, it's going well, making progress. Still have quite a bit of ways to go, but I'm excited. I'm enjoying the build so far.